All right, we are live, and I thought we would just, I'm thinking about doing something, let me get my Amazon going here. I'm thinking about doing something on Apple Arcade because I have, through my Verizon account, I have a free subscription. So I got in recently the iPad Air, the new one with the M1 processor on board. So I was enjoying my afternoon coffee here. Got my Dunkin'. And what I thought I would do is take a look at Apple Arcade because I have this subscription for like the next year. It was part of my cell phone plan, which I thought was a great deal. And so what we're going to do today is step through, I think, some of the popular games. So I'm going to grab like Sonic Racing here, and we'll just play through them all because these are all mobile games that you get as part of this Apple Arcade deal, but they don't have any of the free-to-play stuff integrated into them. So when you play a game on Apple Arcade, let me just put this on Do Not Disturb. When you play a game on Apple Arcade, there's no like upsell, so they're not going to try to sell you on more junk, no coins and all that garbage. So it's pretty benign in how it supposedly works. Nigel is here. William is here. Oh, I got to get my thing going here. Hang on a second, everybody. There we go. So let me start again here. Nigel is here, and William is here, and Richard is here, and Michael is here, and George is here. Yeah, so I thought we'd play through some games. I got a few installed already, and I'm also trying to figure out like how to best navigate this because there's just a ton of depth to this. Let me grab the Lego Star Wars thing here too. So they've got a bunch of different genres on this. They've got a bunch of retro revivals. They got the Oregon Trail. Maybe we'll grab that one. And these are all, again, free of charge because they are part of the subscription plan. So as long as you're subscribed, you can play all of these games. And they have some of their more classic ones on here too. I thought there might have been a Pac-Man game on here. Oh, see all games. And so these are some that are coming soon. These are by release date, so let's go by, I guess we can do it by different genre. Category. Let's go by category, and we'll add only games with controller support. Let's see what we get here. There you go. It's a little bit easier to manage. I thought there might have been some Pac-Man thing on here, so we'll check that out too. Here's something called Gear Club, a little racing game. Detonation Racing, what's that all about? Let's see what that one is. Oh, I like things that explode, so we'll grab that one. And we'll see how much space I have. I have the 64 gigabyte iPad Pro here, and definitely wanted to try out Star Trek Legends. So we'll give that a go. They even have some simulation games too. These must be more, yeah, there's only a couple of those. Bunch of sports games. What I don't see, I'm just looking to see if there's, yeah, there's no hockey games or anything. Some strategy games. They've got some word games. These are all the games that support the controller directly, and so there's a bunch more if we turn the controller filter off that will get, that just support touch controls. Can we get it as, oh, here's a list, okay. So these are all the action games. So it's been filling up. Like before when I first got into this, it didn't have as much available. And I'm guessing the deal here is that I'm going to move all of these over to the second screen here so we can get them all in one place. So let's go move this over here. And we're going to move this one over here. So we're just going to try out a bunch of these and see what we end up with here. Get that one over there. And Sonic Racing. So I'm going to download a bunch of these things, and I'm going to get rid of some stuff too to free up some space on the on the iPad. Because again, I only have 64 gigs on this one, so that is going to impact our capacity here. Get rid of that one. I think I'm out of space already. That's what this, I just got a warning about a space issue. And you can see how quickly, if you don't have a lot of space, you know, like why you might want to get an iPad with more space. All right, there we go. So it didn't download Detonation Racing. Let's see if it'll do it now. Maybe I did too much. This is the problem. It's like all free, so you can grab as much as you want, at least free with your subscription. Bob is here. And Richard says, yes, if we do Oregon Trail, there will be dysentery in my future. Did that one download yet? No, we're still waiting on that one. We're still waiting on that one. Why don't we do Galaga Wars first here and see what that looks like. Oh, this looks like a Tate mode game, so we have to do this one in Tate mode, like that. So let me get the... Let's get that arranged a little bit here. All right, so there's 2 players. We'll do player 1. I think my controller is still attached to this. Maybe not. Hang on, let me see what the controller is attached to real quick. Oops. I will say the sound on the iPad is pretty decent. I'm just going to check and make sure that I've got this. Yes, I'm already out of storage. This is like what I deal with my kids all the time too, because my kids are always out of storage on their iPad. So that is something that I deal with. What's interesting is that I've got the I have the smart keyboard cover thing on it right now, and that. Yes, we have maxed out the 64 gigs on here. Let's see what we have for storage on here. Richard says, yeah, Mark Bussler approves anything with explosions and flamethrowers or rocket launchers. I miss his channel so much. And then it's tape mode. That's right. And Richard Maxey says, you see the one in the Taito Mini Arcade? Yes. Yeah, I watched that the other day on GameSack's channel. I thought that looked amazing. It was like a really neat way to approach things. All right, so it looks like my Notes application is taking up 2 gigabytes. Music has 2 gigs also. Let me get rid of the Music app. I don't know why it's got 2 gigs on Apple Music here. We can get rid of that, free up some space. This is the, by the way, this is the procedure that I go through on my kids' iPads like every weekend, because they never have any space on their iPads. YouTube Kids is an awful, it puts on so much extra stuff. It's like, it's crazy. And, okay, the Xbox controller is connected. Good. Okay, so what's interesting is that this game does not appear to work with the game controller. Let's see, though. Let me hit confirm here. Yeah, so this is like a touch game. It's got cool music. But, you know, to some degree, it's not, I don't think it has the same level of challenge as the arcade version. Oh. Yeah, because it automatically fires. So I think there's something about like pushing that button constantly that I think makes it fun. Now, remember, if there was a free-to-play version that was on the regular App Store, on Apple Arcade, it won't follow that same thing. So you don't have to, you're not going to get prompted to like buy stuff all the time. So that's one consolation there. So everything that you get on Apple Arcade is the full game completely. All right, so let's get rid of that one. I'm not too crazy about that one. Okay, so delete that app. All right, the next one, why don't we do Detonation Racing, because that looked interesting to me. So let's see what that looks like. Jolt Dude is here. Hello there. Exactly. That's part of the game, is hitting the button. So if you don't have the button to push, that kind of takes away a lot of the fun, doesn't it? All right, so now we're going to do a little Detonation Racing. This is all about speed and explosions. So I'm in. I am in on speed and explosions. All right, here we got to go through all this stuff. Dodge explosions and reach the finish line. But I want to cause explosions. What's going to happen there? All right, let's try this out. Okay, here we go. All right, so the right trigger here is the explosions everywhere. And I will say, graphically, that the iPad M1 here can do more than what you see. So this game doesn't feel like it's running at 60 FPS. It feels more like 30. And there's no way to put a frame rate counter on, so it's hard to say what it will end up being. All right, so this is Detonation Racing. And, it's okay. Let me just go into my notes here. I just want to make sure I keep up with my labeling of my... Okay, so let's try the next one here. So we'll do one more round. See what this looks like. All right, so now we're going to go for level 2 here and see what we get. And it says, finish the race to qualify. So we shall see what happens when we finish the race. I'm hoping for more explosions because I was kind of disappointed with the level of explosions in the last round. Trigger a strike, drift around a corner, slipstream behind an enemy. So we'll... Now, I'm not sure what the controls do here. I know how I can make the car move forward. Let's see. Yeah, so it's trying to be a little bit like Burnout, but it feels a little bit like it's on rails. It's like it's not quite Burnout. It's hard to be Burnout. But I guess you can pick up speed if you stay directly behind the other car to slipstream them, I guess. There we go. So now I just need to trigger a strike. All right, so I need to drift one more time, and then I can get my strike. I'm not crazy about this one either. I'm drifting the wrong way. All right. Now I should have gotten my strike here. Let's see. Let's give this another shot here. Press strike to wreck enemies. How do I strike? A. Okay, A button. Yeah. I'm not digging this one. I'll be honest. I think it's like, destroy them all. Okay. I mean, on a phone, maybe this is entertaining, but this doesn't rival a console game by any stretch. So we're gonna have that one depart my home screen here. We gotta free up space. And Richard says, it's hard to beat Burnout. Are any of those games on Apple Arcade? No. Although I think on Xbox Game Pass, I think they have Burnout Paradise. But to be honest, like, I'm not a big fan of Burnout Paradise. I think the last game that they made was like the 2006 game, which was Burnout Revenge, I think. It was the first one that was on the 360. And Grayson says, it looks like my car was... Yeah, the car slows down unless you get, like, directly behind another player. All right, now this one... So here's what's neat about Apple Arcade, is that it will put your save game into the cloud. So if I jumped onto my Apple TV, for example, it would pick up where I left off. Not so groundbreaking a feature anymore because that works everywhere. But Classic Game Room would be disappointed with those explosions. Yeah, I think for a game that markets itself with explosions, those explosions were quite weak. Now this is Castlevania. So let's skip the thing there. Skip this event scene, yeah. Now this is like a more modern Castlevania game. And you know, I feel like they hit like their peak in the 16-bit era, like the one on the, there we go. The one on the TurboGrafx and the PC Engine was amazing. The PC Engine CD, was that Rondo of Blood? That game was awesome. So it looks like you have a double jump here you can do. The graphics look pretty good on this. And this is a, see, now what fun is that? Like it attacks automatically, I don't even have to push anything. And I'm guessing that, again, this is like another game that was designed for, a mobile platform. But all I got to do is just run towards the enemy and it automatically, I mean, what fun is this? Like he's just doing everything. I don't have to do anything but just move him in the direction. Yeah. But I think there are some trade-offs that they make to try to make this compatible with touchscreens, you know? But, all right, so push the R stick down to activate main weapon skill. Okay. Which button are they talking about? Right button? Activate main weapon skill. Push R. I'm pushing R. Nothing. Flick to the left to use a main weapon skill. All right, there we go. It's a little cutscene in there. Yeah. Not digging in this one either. I think it shows that there's much to be desired here on the arcade. It's like mobile shovelware so far. Let's see. All right, skip the event. Let's give it a little bit more, but I think and Martin Paolini is here. I'm going to skip this. We just want to play the game. All right, so now we've got like a hub world, it looks like. So let's jump in and do another quest here. Let's see what we get. Oh, jeez, so much story. Let's play the game. I'm guessing you could turn this off, right? But, I mean, all you do is move. Like, I haven't done a thing. I'm not really playing this game. Watch. All right, dodge to the left with left trigger. Okay. But, like, the actual attack is automatic. See? Now this is the theme song from Castlevania 3. Now if you have this on the Japanese Famicom system, hey, Jason Ham is here, welcome. If you have this game on the Japanese Famicom system, you actually get an extra channel of audio. So you can do that on the Mister and on the EverDrive too, I believe. But I'm going to record this part because I think this is a good. But I'm not like doing anything. It looks good, but it doesn't feel. I mean, he's got a sword and not a whip, so I think that's part of it. But it's like on autopilot. You just move the guy in the direction and he just kills the enemies, right? I think there's something more satisfying about pushing the button to actually attack, right? So, yeah. I'm just not feeling this one, but we'll see. I'd love to hear what you all think about that. And here's a good thing from Bryant here. For people that say gaming on a phone is the same as gaming on a Switch, exactly. I think that's a very good point. And this is the challenge, right? Because they have to make these games touch first. controller second, because not everybody's going to hook up their controller. And a lot of people are going to be using this on a phone, right? Like they're going to be out and about using their Apple Arcade subscription. So, you know, Konami probably contracted with some developer, like, okay, make us a Castlevania game. Here's the music. But like he's doing all the attacks. So I've got the controller here, but he's doing all the attacks automatically. So I'm really just moving the guy around. Now on a mobile phone with a touch screen, I think that would probably, you know, be a welcome thing, right? But so yeah, so that's that. Yeah, this reminds me, right, of Back to the Future 2, where you got to use your hands. Oh, so he was saying I got to tilt my analog back. Okay, because I thought it was telling me to push down on it. That was my confusion there. Okay. I did have a request to clean my screen, so maybe I'll do that real quick. I have a little cloth here we can wipe the screen down with, because I was touching it earlier. That's the other problem, right? You don't have that on your Switch all the time. Okay, so we're going to move on from Castlevania, and that'll free up some space so we can download a few other games. So let's remove that one. All right, delete that one. And this is the Oregon Trail. We're going to try to download that one again. Now, I've already had some space limitations because you cannot upgrade the space on an iPad. You can plug in external storage, but you can't install apps on it. All right, let's try Sonic Racing. All right, here we go. Now, this is these are games that I found on the Apple Arcade subscription plan. That looks pleasant. All right. All right, how do I... Oh, so here we go again. So I'm controlling him. I don't have to put my foot on the gas here at all. I'm not sure what the buttons do. I can control his movement. Use left stick to steer. Wait, what's going on here now? Hang on. Oh, it needs my permission to save data. That's an Apple thing, because Apple wants your permission to do anything. But I'm not going to give them notifications. I hate when games notify me. All right, so let's go and just do a league race. Okay. So I'm going to play against Swift Manatee. All right, here we go. This one seems to run pretty fast, which you would expect from a Sonic game, right? But I'm not actually controlling anything beyond his movement. So these buttons don't seem to be doing anything. Oh, maybe I can do something now that I have. Okay, so that did some kind of turbo thing. It must have been the item that I picked up. But I don't even have like a brake control, so I'm not sure how I would... If I wanted to drift, I guess he drifts automatically. Yeah, so you don't get a lot of, like, you know, when you think about what makes Mario Kart on the Switch so fun is that it's kind of coordinating controls, right? So you want to control the brakes and the gas and hitting, and the little jump thing that they do, and like hitting all those things at the right moment to get. This just feels like, just like Castlevania, it feels like I'm controlling the car, but even with my controller, yeah. I mean, maybe in a mobile environment it would be kind of fun, but it looks good though, right? I think this is probably the fastest feeling game that I've downloaded. Like this one I could say definitely is running at a nice 60 FPS right now. And by the way, if you have requests for me to try stuff, let me know in the comments, because I have an Apple Arcade subscription, which I got as part of my Verizon cell phone plan. I guess I get like a free year or something like that. So, but I'm not finding like, it doesn't seem to have the depth so far of what you would get on the Switch, right? Oops. All right, so that is Sonic Racing. I think that's what I had here. Let me just double check. I hope I recorded that because I wanted to. I'm thinking about doing a video, but I'm not sure yet. Partly because, yeah, I got it. Because I'm not sure there's much to talk about here at this point. Okay. All right, I reached level 2, if that means anything. So that's Sonic Racing. Remove that one. And yeah, I am a Sonic Racing Twitch streamer now. George says, I've played RetroArch on my phone with a whole controller interface on the touchscreen. That was a bit cumbersome, but still playable. Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like they're kind of holding your hand. I mean, maybe for when my daughter was younger, it might have been fun for her to play that way because she didn't have to coordinate all the other controls other than movement. All right, let's try. Let's do. We did this the other day when we reviewed this, but let's take a look at NBA 2K2. All right, so we're going to try Butter Royal next after. So this is the arcade edition. All right, so we're going to do a quick game here. Let's see how this looks. I know nothing about basketball these days, so we're just going to go with whatever they recommend. You know what I would love is like a good, just accurate port of NBA Jam. I have it on the iPad. There is a version from probably about a decade ago. I don't know if it's still up to date, which wasn't bad, but it's still, it's kind of like a 2D, 3D, or 2.5D kind of experience. This looks great, though, doesn't it? So this is one that I think kind of shows off some of the graphical prowess you have. You can see some of the reflections in the floor there, so it's got some nice realism to it. Now, what I'm not sure about, I don't know. Yeah, this plays nice. And granted, I haven't played any of these NBA games on my Xbox, so I can't give a good point of comparison on that. I just can say that it looks nice and it feels pretty smooth in its and how it works. And here, unlike the other one, I'm actually controlling the game here. Shoot the ball, shoot the ball. There we go. All right. Not bad. Reach in foul. So when you get in closer like this, you can kind of see the differences. I would put the graphical quality here probably in the Xbox 360 territory. But the M1 is capable of much more than that. I would say the M1 is probably halfway or all the way to a PS4 kind of level. So if I hold down the trigger button here, he can do a... Oh, missed that one. Now what this is missing is like a play-by-play announcer. That's the only thing I wish it had. And I got a couple of questions here. Let's see. So we're going to try Butter Royal in a minute. Super Lumberjack Syrup Shug. Okay. Is that real? That's funny, if that exists. And Richard was playing some NBA Jam last weekend on the Genesis. So you know which version I liked the best was the PlayStation. And Rob, yes, this iPad does suffer from that, and I covered that in the review that I did the other day. And more so when it's warmed up, but definitely, I think the material, the build quality is not as good as the prior generation, and I think it's because the metal is thinner. I think that's the case here. But so far, this game feels the most console-like in that I'm not. It's not. Ooh, nothing but net there. It doesn't feel compromised in its controls, like it actually works with the controller. Oh. I want to dunk something here. Give me a dunk here. I want to dunk it, dunk it, dunk it. So a couple of frame drops there, as you saw, too. So it's not heavily optimized. I think the biggest problem that Apple has right now is that a bulk of their devices that developers are writing games for, and I've said this before on my reviews, they're mostly the lower end chips, right? Like, you know, I would say probably 60% of, or maybe more, of the install base is running on slower chips than this. So Brandon says NBA Jam On Fire Edition is BC on the Xbox consoles, and it's still, yeah, I think I have that. So I remember buying it when it came out. All right, so we're gonna risk freeing up space here, but yeah. So that one, I think of all of them so far, has felt the most console-like. Here's Star Trek. Let's take a look at this one. I have high hopes for Star Trek. Let's hope it's good. And this apparently is like the full-blown Star Trek experience. And I love Star Trek, so let's see what this looks like. All right, the Nexus is returned. Yeah, that's not good. So the Nexus was from Star Trek Generations, right? That was that, or am I have that confused? There's always something that's threatening the universe, and so it is a real game. We'll have to check that out. Hey, Chris Allegretta is here. How's it going, Chris Allegretta? Hey, did you release Nano on the Apple Arcade? I'd love to run it on my iPad. Somebody should release it on the iPad. I would love like a text editor for the iPad. So apparently I must have played this before. I'm going to start a new game here and see what this is all about. All right. Thanks. Okay, this is Captain Burnham here. Thanks for responding to my distress call. I don't know where I am or how I got here, but the locals aren't very friendly. Says a Cardassian security officer. Okay, so, oh my goodness, it's like a role-playing game. Press X to launch an attack. I'm pressing X. Is it a different X? It's actually A. It says push X, but you have to push A. So this looks like a role-playing game. Crew members have powerful skills. All right. Now, do I have free movement? So this is kind of more like a turn-based thing, it looks like. All right, so open the transporter. All right, scanning the strange ether with the Nexus. Okay, so let's... Now, I think this is one of those free-to-play games, but on here, you get everything, because Apple Arcade does not do any in-app purchases. And Basic is wondering if I've heard about Apple's VR headset. Yes, you know, I think if you look back in one of their more recent keynote things that they did, they were doing a lot of kind of special effects where the people that were presenting were outside and then inside, and that they were stepping through the outside to come back into the presentation area without actually going through a door. You have to watch it to get the sense of it. I have a feeling that they were about to announce it and decided not to. But yeah, I think it'll, you know, what I found with these M1 processors is that they are incredibly power efficient. So it will if you look at what you can do on an Oculus Quest, if you put an M1 in there with almost the same power consumption, I think you'll see a remarkable level of graphical fidelity on it. Yeah, so this looks like kind of like a role-playing game, which is not a criticism. All right, so I can do phaser burst, stand down, type 2 phaser, or let's do a phaser burst. All right, so what can Warf do? So I don't have control over Warf yet here. Oh, I do. I can do a batleth strike. Yeah, let's do the batleth strike. All right, that's kind of neat. So they all have like their own. Now, do we get to fly ships in this? Because I do see ships. So is that the next? All right, so we're going to warp into the Cardassian warp core, or beam into the warp core. All right, yeah. Again, it feels very mobile-like. I'm just kind of pushing buttons, right? The graphics look pretty good. Oh, by the way, it's 2:30 here. We have like this this rock quarry not far from my house that they do blasting at 2:30 every day, although they were 4 minutes late today. So the whole house shakes. It's kind of a normal thing at 2:30 p.m. So sometimes you're like, was that an earthquake? And then you look at the watch and it's like, nope, it was 2:30. That was the blasting. That's what I just felt here. You didn't hear it, but Stephen is here. Hello there. And George, yeah, I think they may have been showing the PlayStation layout. I wonder if they don't have a way of discerning the Xbox controller from the PlayStation. Eric wants to know, do I prefer this controller for Apple Arcade versus the Sony? You know, I don't own a Sony PlayStation. I do have a couple of Sony controllers, but I just tend to like the Xbox controller. And for me, the older I get, like the more I can keep a consistent controller across all my different things, the better. And what I do with mine, actually it looks like I have the Amazon Basics in here now. Generally, I run my stuff off of rechargeables. I usually get those nickel metal hydride batteries. So, all right, well, this one looks to be kind of like a role-playing game, so that's cool. All right, so let's get rid of that. I'm not finding anything here that I'm like thinking that this is a must-have kind of experience. Thomas wants to know, have I heard of the Asahi Linux for the Silicon Macs? It just came out in beta. I have not heard about that, but if you want to email me a link, I'll check it out. Especially if I can load it up in like a VM, virtual machine. That would be kind of fun to play with. One Bag wants to know, do I think they'll incorporate VR? Yeah, you know, what's funny is that they had incorporated it on the Intel Macs for a while. So the Intel Macs that had sufficient GPU power were compatible with VR. I think they had compatibility with the HTC Vive, but when they switched over to M1, they dropped it. And VR has been kind of a tough nut to crack. I think a lot of companies have been, as we're seeing with Facebook, they're spending an enormous amount of money on this, and it hasn't gotten them anywhere. So, Mando says, are there any real games? We haven't really found too many yet. We're getting there. Yeah, fillet that order. Hey, by the way, I've been watching that. You all may not like it, but I've been enjoying the second season of Picard. And I was not thinking I was going to like this one because they're going back to they're going back in time. It's one of those time travel things. But last night's episode, you know, it was entertaining. It wasn't awful. I actually kind of enjoyed it. So I think they've put together a good cast there. All right, let's do the Oregon Trail. And I'm guessing this one, even though this is compatible with the controller, I don't know if it will work with the controller. But we'll see. Now, I played this game on an Apple II. And we got our disclaimer here. Okay, so let's jump in here. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to walk through. Looks like they already have dysentery. We shall see. Chris says, I have to admit, since they took building out of Fortnite, I've been really enjoying it. They took building out of Fortnite? Or is that like a mode that you can go into? Richard says that he prefers offset sticks, but since PS4, his hands have started to prefer the natural thumb placement on the DualShock. Yeah, I should just try playing around with some of that a little bit more here. And I guess, Rob, was that the guy, like, he was the guy that was in Star Trek 4, right? It was the same song. And apparently he was like a production designer or something that they put into the movie. Hey, the Brown is here. Good to see all my usual faces. And I have Halo on queue. I got to watch that later this weekend. And we're going to get to Butter Royal next. Okay, this might be fun. So the butter brings everyone to the center location, and it's winner take all. All right, we're going to try this a little bit. Okay. All right, so let's hit next here. All right, so it's more of this stuff. Well, the graphics certainly look better than my Apple II version did. You know, it was funny, like that was the one game we were allowed to play in school because it was somewhat educational. I will admit that my teachers didn't know what to do. So when I was in third grade in 1983 was when we got computers in the classroom. We had one Apple II per class. And the teachers had no idea what to do with it. So we were the ones bringing things in. And it was this and Carmen Sandiego were the two big things. All right, so I have a choice here. This is Moses Harris. He says, so I got somebody with a broken leg or a fever. I think I'm going to go with the fever because I don't want everyone else to get sick. So I'm going to choose the fever. Let's see what happens here. All right. See, that's good, Chris, because I like you have found the building to be it makes it more complex. I just like to hide for like most of the game and then pop in at the end and see who I can take out. But I'm not very good at building things. All right, so it looks like we have to like raise this. Oh, I think I treated the wrong person. All right. This is already more complex than. All right, so David's walking around with a broken leg. All right. Now we got to repair the wagon. Yeah, see, this is already more than like a kid could, I think, pick up easily. I guess it's guiding you through the process here, but I don't know, something to be said about trying to figure out the game without all these tutorial things. I don't know. Like, is it necessary? Couldn't they just have replicated the original Apple II experience with better graphics, maybe? I don't know. It does look nice, though. All right, Alfred is exhausted. All right, so maybe Alfred should take a nap. Okay, so now this is all tutorial stuff. So now we can give Alfred some coffee. Treat with coffee. Amanda says, this ain't Call of Duty. Yeah, definitely not that. We should try Call of Duty, though. I think that's available on here, right? Now, here's something I did not know, that Lemonade Stand on the Apple II was written by the same company. I did not know that. That was just like in BASIC, right? And Aaron says, I played Oregon Trail on the computer in school, though it's amazing that the animation on this updated iPad version is better. Yeah, I will say the animation is it definitely adds more to the experience. It even has like scaling. That looks pretty cool. I mean, I guess this is something I would probably sit down with my kids to play because it's it's a connection. But I think what I would probably do is play the original with them first on an emulator and then kind of go there. All right, we're getting down here to a few others. Let's try Speed Demons, then we'll try here's another one we got to go in Tate mode for. This one is called Speed Demons. Let's see how this one plays out. Now this apparently said it uses the controller. I got to turn the controller back on here. There it goes. So this does use the controller. So you move the car with the left stick, B applies brakes, and A will nudge the car when stuck. Oh, this is like an overhead thing. This looks pretty fun. Oh, this is kind of cool. Sorry for the camera angle here, everybody. Oh, this is fun. This kind of reminds me of Bump and Jump. I'm not sure what the objective here is. Maybe I'm supposed to get ahead of these cars. I'm in 19th place, so I definitely want to go faster here. All right, so here's what we're going to try to get ahead here. So now I'm in 17th place. Do I get any kind of turbo? But still not quite a console game, right, everybody? Like, it's still pretty basic here. Yeah, actually, that's right. So it is kind of like a Spy Hunter. It looks a little bit like Spy Hunter and a little bit like GTA 1. Yep. You know, it's funny, GTA 1, they had a hard time finding a publisher in the United States. And I remember my friends and I finding it on some FTP server somewhere. And one of my roommates got so addicted to that game, he couldn't stop playing it. Didn't they remake it? They had like an overhead GTA game. It was on mobile, I think. Yeah, it was actually. It was on the iPhone. I remember having it on my iPhone. I forgot what they called that. Was it like Liberty City Stories or something? All right, so I'm almost at the end of the race here. I'm in 4th place. Not much of a challenge, but I still didn't come in first. Yeah, there's no machine guns on this one. But Basic Pixel is right, very mobile game-ish. I'm with you there. All right, so yeah, so that one, yeah, very mobile-y. Nothing quite console quality. So let's get rid of that one. And then let's try the Butter game that was recommended earlier. So let's go back to Apple Arcade. Now that I've freed up some space here, so let's go and look at Butter. It was called Butter Royale in Apple Arcade. Let's try this out. Butter Royale. I think, Chris, honestly, I was going to do something on this, but I have not found enough here to really recommend this as enough, you know, it would be one of those things where it would be, don't waste your time with this kind of thing. I mean, the games are okay, they look okay, but they're all mobile-y, right? But hey, maybe Butter Royale will change my mind. Yes, and that's what I was thinking of, was Chinatown Wars. That's it. That's right. And you are absolutely correct, Paramount, that these chips can do much more than what we're seeing here. All right, next up. This is, is this kind of like a, okay, so grab the mayonnaise. Okay. Now grab some ammo. All right, now what? Have some more ammo. And some more ammo. But I'm armed to the teeth now. Okay. All right, so now try splashing, drag and hold the right. Oh, I see. Okay, so you shoot with the right stick here, which is, it's not bad. It's like a twin stick shooter. Okay. Press the right trigger to fire at the nearest target. So I can also hit the trigger and it'll automatically, see, here we go again with the automatic aiming, right? Okay. Get ready for your first butter battle. Okay. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to play against the AI. Let the butter commence. Are you ready for butter? Okay, so let's get my... Okay, here we go. Can I get more here? All right, get some more ammo here. There's a timer up here, so what does that mean? And they disappear. What's going on with that? Survive to be the last one standing. All right. It's like a different type of weapon, it looks like. It's like a catch-up thing. Avoid the yellow butter. I would say if you're playing this as a twin-stick shooter, you will have an advantage. I'm guessing they probably pair you up with... I get some health here. There we go. Ooh. So I will say it's pretty cool that they include a twin stick option here, because you do have a lot of control. But this definitely doesn't feel up to the level of a console kind of experience. Can I destroy the cars? It's just like cover. I gotta find more players here, so this thing is directing me this way. What's this thing? Looks like a pretty powerful weapon here. Oh, they leave footprints too. I see. That's pretty neat. I ran out of weapons here. Let's do. So I guess you hit people over the head with the bread after. Oh, it's like Fortnite. It's closing in. Oh no, I'm screwed. I can't get out of here. There we go. I run faster. Get out of there. So it's got some of the elements that you would experience with like one of the... The butter's coming in again. Gotta move it back. Okay, so yeah, so it's got some familiarity to the concepts of a good Royale game, right? They keep pushing you into the middle. I'm getting hammered here. That was easy. Some health here. Well, I won my first Royale. How about that? Not bad. And Jolt Dude loves, yeah, that's a fun one. Guy says to get armor and HP, which I think we were doing there, so that's pretty good. Kill your enemies with cholesterol. That's right. Good stuff. Yo, dog, I heard you like ammo. Yeah, so this one was good. I'll give you that. This one was more entertaining. Also, good use of the controller, right? So it adds a twin stick option. Because I could see people playing this on the touchscreen, being like, "Yeah, this would be a totally awesome twin stick shooter." All right. So now I'm going to give them some data on my play session. All right, so Butter Royale. We'll give that a thumbs up. All right, so let's do the Star Wars Lego Castaways. Let's see how this one works. And then we had the maple syrup chugger. That one might be good for my brother. We'll see. All right, so again, another controller game here. Apparently, I had started this earlier. I think I was playing this on the Apple TV. All right. And I thought this worked with the controller. Oh, here we go. I get through all this garbage. Okay, so there we go. You know, it looks good. But I don't know if this is like running at a full 60 FPS here. This feels more like 30 to me. All right, so. And by the way, I got to leave in about 20 minutes to pick up my kid at school. So that's the that is the break moment. But let's take a look here and see how this goes. So we're going to go up to the top of the hill here. Now this one does have everything mapped properly, because I hit Y and I get the discussion here. I want like some spaceship games. Let's get that going, right? All right. All right, did that. Can I go in here? No. I have to go over here. I mean, to some degree, it's kind of nice that they guide you through the process, but it's like, just push this, push this, push that. No reason why we're telling you to do this. Just follow our directions, right? All right. So we got to find this thing. Well, this one looks pretty good. I'll give you that. I gotta hit the, there we go. And I can't move the camera angle, so it's like a fixed camera. But quality-wise, I would put this one, you know, if you played some of the other Lego Star Wars games, this would probably be in that category. Oop, probably not a good idea to do that. I don't know. All I know is I got a hammer. I'm supposed to, okay, there's an A button. This is like a dash kind of thing. I gotta. All right. All right, there it is. Use your vroom to destroy it. So what is my vroom? I think it's my. There we go. Okay. Did what I was told. Corruption cleared. I'm like a prosecutor. So this is a good comment from Basic, because I think to some degree you're going to see that from Apple. And if they do have a standalone VR headset, it is probably going to be far superior. And the question, and I think also, left button, you would have the scenario where Apple would be able to dangle money in front of developers to make something good for it. But as far as I'm concerned, there needs to be more Star Wars X-Wing games. All right, so what's going on here? So this is, yeah, more back to the hub world stuff. Yeah, so this one looks okay. This one has some degree of depth to it. Yes, this one has definitely got a more of a console vibe to it. So I'll give you that. And I want to show you Oceanhorn 2 before we clear out. This one is kind of like a Zelda game. And this is also part of Apple Arcade. And this works like many of the others on Apple TV also, so you can go back and forth between the TV and the other thing. But this one looks great. And it's the code is very well optimized, because we were playing this on, I was playing this on the iPhone SE yesterday. You'll see that review over the weekend. And it really looked nice. All right, I think I just did something so I can get out a treasure chest. And this game in particular, I think, is probably, so far of the ones that I've played, and this one I've played with a little bit before, this one far and away feels the most console-like in its execution. I mean, it looks like something Nintendo would make. I mean, the graphics are spectacular. This is a sequel, so there was an Oceanhorn 1 also, which apparently I own. Now, is this on the Switch? I would imagine it would be. Because it feels like, you know, it totally feels like a Switch game. Like, of all the games that I've played on Apple Arcade, including the bunch that we, oops, not a good idea, including the bunch that we just played around with, like, this one, to me, feels the most console-like. And Zoran says most of these are made with the Unity engine. And he enjoyed Mini Motorways too much, but that could be run on a potato. And I love Hyperspace Outlaw. That one is a lot of fun. Is that on here? Hyperspace Outlaw? Let me see. So I know I've been playing that on my Switch. Let's see. Hyperspace, it's Hyperspace Outlaw, right? No. Negative. And Richard says that Oceanhorn 1 was on the Switch. I would imagine the second one would be also. Yeah, so Hyperspace Outlaw I've got on my Switch, which I bought, and I've been enjoying that one quite a bit, especially because I can play it on the TV or handheld. And that's where, like, even and graphically, it's not that demanding of a game. Runs fine. I mean, I'm sure it looks better on the Xbox, but that's been working out really well. Hypnospace. All right, so let me see what that is. 'Cause I was thinking Hyperspace Outlaw. I must have gotten it confused. Let me look up Hypnospace. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Yeah, it's not on here. Let me do a search for Outlaw. There's Off-Road Outlaws. Yeah, I don't see Hypnospace Outlaw. Now I got to look this up because that sounds like an interesting game to me. Hypnospace Outlaw. Hypnospace Outlaw. So that's on Steam. Oh, that looks pretty cool. It's like a cyberpunk kind of thing, isn't it? Or what? Oh, it's got like, oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Now, I've played this. I'm sorry. Yep, I know exactly what this is. I actually played this for quite a while. It's fascinating. Yeah, it's like you're trying to solve mysteries by browsing through, like, what looks like early 90s internet. Yeah, this is a neat game. That would work really well on this, and it's not available for the iPad. Papers, Please is kind of fun, too. That's another one I was playing around with a little bit. And George is right. I don't think Apple's would be targeted at a low price point like the Quest is. And I will say that the Quest 2 in particular, the wireless mode back to the computer, AirLink, has been really fun. So, all right. Well, folks, I have to run because I have to pick up my kid in a few minutes because we have two kids doing two different things. So I am going to depart right now, but I will be back. I was hoping there would be enough good stuff to do a video on Apple Arcade, but perhaps we do one on how there is not. So that is where we're going to go there. And Chris is right. The internet was very ugly in the late 90s. Somebody just posted a video the other day about making websites on. They got a copy of Microsoft Front Page from '98, the first version, and they built some websites with it on a YouTube video. I'm going to check that one out. That one looks kind of fun. So yeah, good stuff. All right, everybody. I got a jet, pick up the kids, and get cranking on with the rest of the Friday activities here. But thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, it looks like we will be putting that Apple Arcade idea on the shelf for a while, and maybe we'll come back and do something with it a little bit later. But thank you all for tuning in. and helping me out with the video today. And I will talk to you all in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.